Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the JK podcast. I hope everyone is doing well. Today we got Big Sexy back in the house, so that's very exciting, and we're just gonna kick it off right now. I hope you guys all enjoy it. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of the JK podcast. It's nice to see y'all. Yeah, I hope everyone's just like having a good time, doing all right, and yeah, we got Big Sexy back in the house. He moved into college, and he's got some big updates for us. So I hope he can tell us about them and just like what's really going on, how it's working for him.
Yeah. So I was absent for the last podcast, obviously, and a lot of this is unbeknownst to you as well. So basically, the past 2.5 weeks, I was transferring to this college. So like I literally went through an entire applications process in like 10 to 9 days.
Which is hardcore. That's hardcore.
It was fucking terrible. It was like 2 to 3 hours a day of just like stress and being like, fuck, am I gonna be like, do I have everything situated by the time I get in there? And amazingly, I did. And there's a couple things I've done before. Other people who like knew they were coming to the school like months in advance, so that's pretty Poggers-esque. It's so far it's been pretty good. I ended up living on campus, and everything's in walking distance. It's like a medium-sized campus. I'd say it's like the size of like Norwich, Jesse. So it's pretty compact. Everything's easy to get to.
Yep.
What's weird about the University of Southern Maine is that there are multiple campuses. There's one in Portland, the one that I'm living in, which is in Gorham, and one in Lewiston. And 2 of my classes are in Portland, which requires like a 20-minute bus ride to get to
I have heard about that. That must be super weird that they're so far away, because I haven't. Yeah, like I've heard of like other colleges doing that, but like you go to that college to like for your second 2 years or something. But yeah, it's super weird that you just like have classes at both.
Yeah. And what's even stranger is that it's I don't understand. I haven't seen a single person talk about going to Lewiston, but they have like a Lewiston campus. No one has ever talked about classes or even what the campus looks like down there. So I can't even say for certain that Lewiston actually exists as far as the University of Southern Maine is concerned. Portland's campus is arguably nicer.
Okay. Is the one you're living on? Wait, where's the one you're living on?
Gorham.
Okay, is it really nice looking? I bet.
It's all right.
Okay.
I mean, it's like a better version of this is like the ideal version of Northfield, Vermont, which is where Norwich's campus is. I lived at Norwich for a couple weeks for a hockey camp, and that whole entire experience was like, okay, there's a lot of like nice facilities. The ice rink is really nice. The dorms are like serviceable, but the shitty things were like I'm almost certain that the campus was built on multiple hills just to like torture cadet legs to make them go up and down as many stairs as possible.
Yeah, Norwich's campus is real hilly, really hilly.
And they there's also nothing in Northfield. Like there's nothing to do and there's no shops.
Yeah, there's
in Gorham, it's like you can walk less than a mile to get to a Hannaford's. There's a bunch of nice gas stations and eateries and pubs.
Yeah,
not as cool as Portland, but it's very homey.
That's good. That's good. It sounds kind of similar to Blacksburg, because where Virginia Tech is, like it's just a small town, but it's definitely got more stuff than Northfield. Like it's not Northfield size. Yeah.
Another interesting thing I found out was when I went through the admissions process and had to live on campus, I had to get like a meal plan because like I'm eating at the dining hall.
Yeah. Do they rob you blind on your meal plan? Because that's what they did for that's what they did for us.
Kinda. For us, it's like I got one that was like unlimited meal plan. I think that like I don't know how much it costs for it, but like I'm gonna start bringing. Somebody recommended this on the team. There's a guy on our team that are like before me that would just bring Tupperware in his backpack every day to
Oh, and
the
steal?
fucking yeah.
No.
Just sit down, put his plates in the Tupperware, put it in his backpack, and just walk out.
No, dude, my dad, when he, my dad, when he went to college, what they would do is one guy would walk in. They would have these big, like, you know, like the cheese board area, like at like a restaurant, they might have like a big block of cheese where you can like slice yourself some. So one of my dad or one of his friends would walk in with their backpack, and someone else would like drop their tray, and then they would steal the giant block of cheese and then like book it out of there, and then they would just buy really cheap bread, and they would just make grilled cheeses for like weeks and weeks on the school's giant block of cheese. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny that they would do that. Yeah, I remember I would take apples all the time and stuff like that. So you could, because I would take an apple next morning because I would have 8 a.m. classes. I would eat it on the walk to class.
Yeah. I need to figure out something for that. Just
How-
so I can, like...
You got early classes, or how are your classes looking?
They're at 11. The earliest
yeah.
classes I have are 11 in the morning. On, like, Monday, Wednesday, and on Tuesday, Thursday, they're at, like, fucking 3 in the afternoon.
Oh, so you're chilling.
I've got pretty good schedule. A lot of that's just because practices are in the morning.
Oh,
But,
okay.
That's another thing. Like, I'm on that team. Like, I have a stall, I have a number, so that's pretty much
Oh, there you go. So you already
a done deal. Yeah, didn't have to do a walk-on thing or anything. Just
That's good.
I'm there now.
Your boy just had you.
Yeah, he was. I really didn't know my status until I walked into the room. I kept like every once in a while. Every day that I did hockey, the week coming up until I left, people were like, "Oh yeah, what's going on with Southern Maine? Have you heard anything?" I'm like, I don't know like what my status is on that team. I talk with the coach every day. He's working on my admission stuff, but he hasn't said you're on the team. He's just like, "Oh yeah, well we got stall waiting for you in the locker room." And then it wasn't until like I literally did this orientation thing on Sunday where we did public skate, and then like the captain was like, "Oh, we gotta get you your jersey." I'm like, "I don't."
Oh, so
I don't know what my number was.
Yeah, you're like, I'm coming in. Yeah, I got this, brother.
Yeah. he just gave it. Oh, you got your. We need your jerseys. I'm looking through. I'm like, I don't know what my number is. He's you're number one. Here you go. It's like, okay.
Dude, my man is number one.
I am number one. Back to my old ways.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been number one since fucking high school, so it's a look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got
Another
the new.
nice.
Are you gonna paint your helmet different for Southern Maine now?
Have you seen what I've done with it?
No, I knew you changed it, but I don't know if it was for Southern Maine or not.
I'm keeping it as the dog skull.
Okay.
Because I think that it fits still. I don't see any reason to change it. I think it's really different too. Like everyone kind of does like the college, like, oh yeah, throw on the logo, throw on the colorway, maybe throw on something for yourself. You don't see someone. A lot of that was just because I saw Jacob Markstrom in the NHL. His helmet this year was just a fucking skull, and the first half of the year was just a white skull, and then the second half he had it be a red skull to look more like his team. But it was so fucking cool because it was I like.
No, I feel like you could do something like that with your team. I feel like you have the creativity to like take your style and just add like a little touch of whatever your team is, and end up like with a final product like that. Yeah, I could totally see you doing it that way though.
It could.
But you don't have to do it.
If the idea strikes me, I might.
Yeah, you don't have to do it right now, but I could see it maybe next year or something, depending.
Yeah. Speaking about that, I had a miraculous thing happen. I don't know if you know this, but basically all my equipment is like broken down to nothing. Like it like every single shot. If I get hit just right on like my pads, I'm gonna feel it pretty
Yeah,
good.
let me show you the laces on my soccer cleats. Because I know what you mean by broken down to nothing. They literally like are so busted, and this one's just tied here and here. But yeah, I know what you mean. How your stuff gets like real broken down.
Just gotta wait for the
Oh yeah, the delay.
soccer cleats to show up on it. Yeah, the nice little delay. But let's have a look at that. Yeah, it looks pretty fucking bad. Jesus. Do you just not believe in relacing them? I mean.
Well, so the laces are like special laces that are super small and skinny, and I hate them. Well, so because they break super easily. Which I don't know if that was a marketing tactic or what, but they're really expensive cleats because basically I got them. What's it called?
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah, I was reading.
We got Whitley saying miracles of the wind, equipment and shatters, laces frayed left and right, special. Oh, good.
Yeah, I was reading the chat, but it looks like for some reason that I think it's because
sure I'll update.
It's because the chat box is behind the. There we go. Now it should update. The chat box was behind the. Wait, why do I have two chat? Oh no, we should be good now. Yeah, it was
the other thing about the new equipment is that I was telling the coach, I'm like, hey, what can I do about new pads? Because I was still like, am I on the team? Can I ask that question? He's like, oh yeah, we've got a pair for you that you can check out.
Oh, that's cool.
I go to his closet, and they're an older model. They're about 2 generations older. But I talked to the coach. I'm like, what are these? He's like, oh yeah, during the COVID year, we had this guy come in. He probably used this pair for 2-3 months, and then he dropped out of school and quit hockey because God told him to. And it's like, all right, well, let's have a look at them. And that, first of all, the resemblance to my old pads is like remarkable. They're a different brand, but they have like almost the exact same colorways as my old one.
Dude, are they Vahugan?
Nah, they're CCM and
okay.
But they're let me get a pic of my old ones.
Dude, if you text it to me, I can pull it up on the stream.
Oh fuck yeah!
Dude,
let me just take
the first use of the phone cap feature.
Dude, the first use of the fucking Jamie, can we get that on screen?
Yeah, Jamie, can we get that on screen, please?
Yeah, Jamie, pull up that video, please. Here you go. So the bottom one's like me and my own shit, and the one I sent is like what they're giving me. First of all, they're my exact size. They have the same length and thigh rise, which is great.
Right. Jamie, pull that up, please.
The pads could be good. I have to test them more. Blocker's great.
Yeah, so this is Jake in his actual pads, and then this is are these the new? Dude, they look really similar color scheme wise.
I know, right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is really weird.
Wild. But no, I just sheer luck, and I guess fucking God's own intervention.
You just came in clutch for the voice.
Did that, yeah. But no, I fucking so far I like them. It's just the glove is really weird, and I'm gonna have to finagle with that motherfucker to get it where I want it. But I don't know. Free shit's free shit. I'm taking that all day.
Yeah.
I think we can move on.
Yeah, about my cleats though, I was telling you. So basically, they are like $250 cleats from Spain that were bought in Spain. Because when I went to Spain to play soccer, I didn't buy cleats because I'm poor. My friend, though, bought cleats because he's not poor. And he came back, he wore them for like a third of a season, and then he got new cleats. And I was like, dude, my cleats are like $50. Can I please either buy or just have your cleats? He was like, oh yeah, you can just have them, dude. And so I've worn these cleats literally since sophomore year of high school. and just worn them straight through. And they are beat to the core, but I love them so much because they're so much better than like the other ones.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
As long as you don't ask questions.
Yeah, just don't ask questions. Okay. Do you want to go into Virginia Tech is bad? Because we can do that.
Yeah, I would love to know about why Virginia Tech is bad.
Okay, so yesterday in general, I had a no good, very bad day, which is similar to. It also is related to burning down the apartment, which I think people might find that one a little bit interesting. But yeah, it is also related to burning down the apartment, which we'll get into later. But Virginia Tech is bad. So we're a pretty big school at football, or for football wise, and we lost to this team called Old Dominion. Which, have you heard of Old Dominion, Jacob?
Never in my life.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we lost to the first game to this team called Old Dominion. We had a pretty sweet setup actually. We watched it outside. Because it was an away game, so we took a TV, we set it up in my friend's driveway with an extension cord on like this dresser. We grilled, we just sat outside, watched it. We had this big me and my roommate have a big whiteboard. We brought the whiteboard, we had that set up. We did like some betting. I lost $30 last night. I literally lost every bet I made. So yeah, yesterday was not so great. And we were pretty abysmal at football, and we had 6 turnovers. Our quarterback threw 4 interceptions. We fumbled one time, and one time we were kicking a field goal and we snapped it over the guy who catches the ball, like over the holder's head, and then they ran it back for a touchdown.
What happened? I thought Virginia Tech was like sick at football.
We've never been sick, but we were okay a couple years ago because we had a quarterback that was pretty good. Our head coach was terrible for those years. We just got a new head coach. This always seems to happen. My dad sent me a text where he literally says, Virginia Tech loses more than anyone I've ever seen in the last 2 minutes of the game. Because we've probably lost in the last 3 seasons, we've probably lost 14 games in the last 2 minutes of the game, where we're up and then we lose. That's 14 games out of what, 35 games? So it's almost half. It's really bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
No, that's all I had to say on that. I was very very disappointed.
Can we move on to 7 Russian billionaires die sus?
Yes. Okay, so this is another this is a Scotty bring up the clip one. I have to give me just a second to pull her up.
Jamie. Bring that up.
I keep thinking of Scotty beam me up. I don't know if you follow Roku, like the news place, but if you do, that's what this is on. And I really recommend this news site to anyone. But all right, let me put on Do Not Disturb so we don't start getting people texting us. All right. So, all right, bring up the clip now. Now. All right, so it's up there. Okay. So basically, on Thursday, this guy, Raval Magnov, we're going to have some really bad pronunciations, but this guy, he fell out of a window and died. He was also in the hospital after something happened to him. He's the second largest oil company. He also, according to Russia, he died of severe illness. He was also, I know, very opposed to war, and was donating a lot to help people like getting affected by the war in Ukraine. All right. Besides him, 6 other Russian millionaires / billionaires have died. In January, this top executive guy of an energy company, he committed suicide. It was the day after Russia invaded Ukraine. He supposedly hanged himself. On to number 2. 3 days later, This gas and oil person, you notice they're all in energy. You'll notice that. They also hung themselves in England. Then this Russian medical supply billionaire, he was stabbed to death. And it was declared a murder-suicide where they think he killed his wife and 2 children. Just a couple days after the other people. Then, on April 18th, so I guess a month later, so a big bank executive, he shot his wife and daughter and then killed himself. Which is another murder-suicide, they say. And, I guess that's all. There was 2 other ones that also supposedly had unfortunate accidents or killed themselves. But yeah, basically they believe it's a plot. But no one's able to directly relate it to Putin. But I think overall it's a pretty sus thing, and I just thought you might want to hear about it and get your thoughts on it.
It's pretty sus. I mean, like, I feel like that should be getting a lot more coverage than it is.
Yeah.
Seems like a really hot topic issue.
I don't quite understand why it's not getting more coverage. I feel like if in the US, out of our top 25 richest people, 7 of them just died in the last 6 months, it would be all by suicide. It would be kind of bigger. But then at the same time, I know there have been some big name people in the US that just decide to kill themselves in jail or something like that.
Well, yeah.
But
hello, Jeffrey. How are you doing?
Yeah. But overall, I just think that's wild, and I'm sure Joe Rogan will be talking about that one too. But we did it first. We did it first here.
Yeah. Now, now I can say Joe Rogan's stealing from us. Even
yeah, literally he is.
First thing we said was, Jamie, pull that up.
Jamie, pull that up.
Jamie, can you pull that up, please?
But yeah, I just thought to bring that up. I thought it was very interesting. We can go into burning down the apartment if you want. This is the biggest thing that happened to me this week.
I'm intrigued.
So, my roommate's he has like some concerns about like legal stuff. I don't think anything's gonna happen, but to take care of all that, this is obviously a comedy podcast. Also, any clips I use from this podcast, if they're of this nature, it is clips of a comedy podcast. So this could all just be jokes. All right, moving on from there. Yesterday, we got home from school, and my roommate had been cooking bacon. Oh, I was thinking we could get him on as a guest at some point.
That'd be nice.
I was thinking I'll just shorten the chat box probably and put, or maybe move myself up and put the third person in like underneath me. Yeah. And we'll be able to cop 3 people. I don't actually know if I'll be able to have, I don't know how I'll have 3 cameras going at the same time, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, he'd been cooking bacon. And then he cooked it that morning, and then you know how like the grease like solidifies into the pan?
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, I gotta heat up the pan." And we had both got back from school, and we had about like 30 minutes ish until we went to this other event that was like a big event that our school puts on, where there's like 500 tables set up on our big drill field at the center of the school, and each table is like a different club, and you go like check out clubs you wanted to go to. And we wanted to go to it because we wanted to join the MMA club. We couldn't find the MMA club, unfortunately, so that was another reason why yesterday didn't work out as good as I was hoping. But yeah, so he was like, "Oh, I'll just heat up the bacon a little bit so that I could dump it into a cup and throw it away." And so then we left, I think he forgot he had heated it up. Well, he did forget he was heating it up. We're driving back from the place. We have our friend in the car. We're gonna drop him off at his apartment. We're driving by our apartment. I'm like, why are there fire trucks in our apartment? What is going on? Like, why are there fire trucks in our apartment? And we're like, oh, I don't know. And I like in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, didn't Ben say he was heating up some bacon grease? I really hope he didn't like leave that on. And then for the next like 10-15 seconds we just drive and it's kind of quiet in the car, and I'm like, oh, no one else to say anything. No, he didn't leave it on. He would remember. Then we get to the stoplight right down the road and Ben goes, yeah, I think I might have left the bacon grease on. And I was like, no, bro. And he's like, yeah, I think that might be us. And we're like, no way, bro. You didn't leave it on. And so we're driving and we're like all stressed out as we're dropping our friend off, and he drives by my friend's house and like has to turn around and like drop him back off. And we're like, no, it can't be us. It can't be us. He's like, dude, I think it's us. We pull in to our apartment, and the fire trucks were pulling in when we were driving by, and literally it was like a 5-minute drive, and by the time we get back the fire trucks were leaving. So we're like, okay, at least it wasn't that bad, and maybe it wasn't us. They were on our side of the building, and the people were at the floor below us. But yeah, so we pull up, we walk in, we smell this once we don't smell anything on the bottom floor. Once we get into the stairwell, we're like, man, that's a really strong bacon smell we're smelling. So yeah, we're like, it's a really strong bacon smell we're smelling. We're walking up the stairs, we're smelling the fucking bacon. We open the door to our hallway. We're like, oh, that's a really strong smell of bacon we're smelling now. And we get to our room, and the door is propped open with a chair, and we're like, it was indeed us. And we walk in, and there was you couldn't see any visible smoke in our room. We had also left the window open, just blowing. So that was good. But apparently, yeah, the bacon had not caught fire. There was no actual, so this is the good part. There was no damages to anything in the room except my pan. My pan got fried, but everything else was fine. It just smelled extremely, extremely strongly of like burnt bacon smoke. So we set up a bunch of fans and we're blowing out, and then we get a call. I get a call, and the lady's like, "Hey, are you from apartment 317?" And I was like, "Yeah. Do you want us to come down?" And she's just like, "Yeah, you should come down." And Ben is calling a lawyer. Like, he's calling like his like family friends, because he's like, are we gonna get are we gonna get in trouble for this? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, yeah, what's going on with all this? We go down, we talk to the lady. They were actually really chill. They were like, yeah, we opened the door because there's reports of some smoke coming from your room, and so I opened the door and like smoke was coming out, so I had to close it. I was really worried you guys were in there. So we called the fire department. They had to evacuate the entire building, bro. Which you're probably gonna have to experience at some point, because someone's gonna burn popcorn in the dorms, and then everyone's gonna have to leave, and it's gonna suck.
Yeah,
hopefully
it's gonna be during winter too.
Oh yeah, it's always terrible. But yeah, so they had to evacuate the whole building. The fire department came. They put in big fans. Yeah, it was just it just smoked a lot because it was just a tiny bit of grease, so it just smoked. And we blew it. We left and went to the football game and blew air out with all the fans all night, and then through the entire night also. And now it smelled like we cooked in there, like, you know, when you cook in your house and you're like, but it seems like we're good. But that was we're like, okay, that was quite an experience. Because we've lived at this place for 3 years and we've kept such a low profile, and now we have such a high profile, bro. We're like, we can't tell people what room we live in. Everyone fucking like They definitely would see the smoke coming out of the window. It was just so bad. But yeah, that's our story about burning down the house.
Like the song.
Yeah.
I don't know what people, but they did burn down the house in that song.
They did indeed burn down the house. Which I don't feel quite as bad because I wasn't the one that. It wasn't. None of it actually was my fault, but it was from our apartment. So yeah.
I just love how Ben is like asking about a lawyer when there are no damages,
Well,
no visible damages at all.
Well, like we had just got back, and he's like, "Okay, before we go and talk to them, I need to just I need to make sure there's nothing we're not supposed to say." And so we were just like very like, yes, like we didn't say like we were trying not to say anything that would like make us seem like we did it on purpose or anything. But yeah, it and she was just like, yeah, as long as it gets out of the walls, and we were like, yeah, it's gonna be out of the walls like it already is. So that's our story.
Oh, that's good. Well, yeah. You know what? Bacon, the smell of bacon really is not the worst thing in the world.
I know that's what I was thinking, because it kind of just smelled like a little bit bacon cooked over the campfire, which I was like, that's not so bad. Like I've smelled much worse burning things. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you win some, you lose some. You know.
Mm-hmm. Not even because there was no flame, so not even like the microwave or the stove is like damaged at all. It was just it was just my nice cast iron pan was became like instantly like destroyed and rusted on the inside because it like, I guess when you like burn stuff to it, it like rips, it really rips it up. I guess I didn't know that, but yeah, we're gonna have to buy a new one of those. We carried the pan out in like this like paper bag so no one could see it and threw it away because we didn't want anyone to know.
Jesus. It's a fucking, you guys are like on like the 4-star wanted level right now.
I know.
Apartment for this shit.
We knocked on a bunch of our neighbors' doors and went to apologize. Yeah. We were like, oh, really sorry about that. But okay, so we think it was a really bad thing, but it ended up in like the best way possible because like 1, didn't get any damages. 2, the fire department was only there for a couple minutes. And then we weren't there when they were there, so they didn't get to like lecture us on fire safety, which would have sucked. And then 3, it was during like the club thing, so like when I saw how many people were outside, there was probably like 20 people from the entire building that were outside then. So it was not a intense, like, because everyone was at the festival thing. And we were coming back from the festival significantly early. So I think not that many like people were affected by it, which was really good. But
good.
Overall, very stressful day.
What'd you end up taking for classes?
Oh, classes?
I'm sorry, I mean clubs.
Oh, clubs. So I'm in the IISE club, which is the Institute of Industrial Systems Engineers. So all these, I didn't join any new clubs. We were just looking for the MMA club, and we also stopped to see our friend who's in an investing club called Coins. It stands for something else, but yeah, it's called Coins. So I've done a tiny bit of work with the game development club, and I've done more work with the theme park engineering club, which I think is actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we get to go to like, they actually like take us and we go to like theme parks and stuff. I haven't got to go to any theme parks, unfortunately, because COVID happened like during the time we would have gone.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other time I was taking my Six Sigma, which is a like manufacturing kind of like, I was taking a to get like I think it was like a green belt in it, which like, I think it's like white, blue, green, and then black. So I was getting like the second to top level, which it means I can like design Six Sigma systems, which is Six Sigma is just a have you taken any stats classes?
I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
so sigma, as you know, sigma is the standard deviation. So 6 sigma is basically they want uh the 6 sigma, like you usually would probably run a 3 sigma system, depending on what you're manufacturing. 6 sigma is for like if you're designing fucking like plane engines or something, where you only want to you want only want a defect every like the defect, if it was to happen, would fall 6 standard deviations outside of your, because when you're making a part you have a internal, like you have a small tall, like for being too small and being too big tolerance. And so
Yeah.
a 6 sigma means you'd have to be 6 times outside the standard deviation to mess up that tolerance. um
All right.
and it's all about designing systems and stuff that don't mess up and don't produce extra waste and stuff. Normally you'd probably have a 3 sigma because that's like 99.8 or something percent of your stuff is going to be good with no defects.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's how that stuff works. And I was taking that class because it's like a week-long class that you take like 5 hours every day, and then do like this big test at the end, and then you get like your certification.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get to go to the amusement park because of that.
That seems like a really convoluted way to exclude people from amusement parks, but
Well, no, it was just because that's when the class was. It just
oh
happened
yeah.
to be. But yeah.
Dude, speaking about stats classes, so I'm like, I took stats last year, right? Like that was my first class in Franklin Pierce was a stats class. I got through that pretty handily, and I'm doing basically a continuation of that called like modern business analytics, which is like stats and learning how to use Excel and
Okay.
applying that to like business analytics.
Yeah.
While I'm also doing this, I've also been placed in college algebra, which makes absolutely no fucking sense.
What is called?
That's
What?
so far below. Like that, even for stats, which stats really isn't like associated with like calculus or algebra. That is like so fucking far below. Fucking stats. And I'm in the most brain dead math class I've ever been in my life.
Dude,
It is
are people
terrible.
like really like in the class?
There are two like at the beginning. I'm like, at the very beginning, I'm like, fuck, I forgot everything about algebra because it's fucking useless.
Mm-hmm.
And then by day like 2, I'm like, okay, yeah, okay.
It's really easy actually.
Every once in a while, it will be like, what the fuck is a union? Oh, okay. There'll be like a couple symbols that I'd forget. I'm like,
oh yeah. But like as soon as they tell you, you're like, oh yeah. Like,
yep. And then I would just like basically I'll just go through all the practice problems before I'll just do all the practice problems in my, you know, it was one that kind of fucked me up, and I immediately was just like, oh, okay, this isn't that bad. Fucking synthetic division. I completely forgot what the fuck synthetic division
what is synthetic division?
It's dividing a polynomial, or it's dividing a nomial set by another like nomial. So like it would be like, for instance, like 4x to the fourth plus 3x squared plus 2x plus 3 divided by like
Oh yeah.
5x squared plus
Yeah.
1.
So dividing oh yeah. That makes sense. And that's how so you can like complete the square, and that like goes into completing the square in calculus and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot to do that. And like I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck? And then it went through it one time. It's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Once
it's just long division, but with normals.
Once did there's this one guy who played on my high school hockey team, which I want to like, here I'll just tell you who it is, but I don't want, I'm not gonna say it out loud, but
okay. I have like a couple names floating in my head about who it's gonna be.
They're significantly older than us.
Mm-hmm.
And did you get the text? Is that who you thought it might be?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay, so they're significantly older than us. And dude, freshman year of college, or no, sophomore year of college, he would call me all the time and be like, "Yo, bro, I need your help. I'm in like this geometry class and it is so hard, bro." And I'd be like, "What do you fucking mean, dude?" And he would send me the problems and they were so, and I'd be like, fuck, I don't know how to do that. And then I would like look up like, what is this? And then I'd be like, oh wait, that's actually so unbelievably easy. How the fuck can't you do this, bro? It was like adding up. It was like knowing that there's like 180 degrees of angles in a triangle and stuff like that. It was so
Dude.
funny.
There's this one dude in my class, and he just is like, you ever like look at somebody in a classroom saying, you're like, how the fuck did you get into this school? It was like that, because my man, after every single explanation, is constantly asking what is going on. To like, he got confused during synthetic division because he didn't understand why the negative number being subtracted was addition, and he had to ask about that.
Oh no, dude.
Bro,
That's
it's
really
fucking bad, dude. I mean, he's like having trouble with like simple arithmetic.
Dude, like that's like sixth or that's probably sixth. This might be fifth grade stuff, bro.
I know, dude. My favorite part afterwards is definitely at the bus station. He like starts up a conversation with me, and he's like, I can't do algebra. I'm really bad at it. I don't like math." And then he's
wait, why does he sound like that?
I don't know. He's like, he either really over enunciates or he's like Irish, and I haven't figured out which one yet. And he's just like talking at me, and he's like, "Oh, for my major at some point I've gotta take calculus," and some people say that. I know, I'm thinking in my head like, you are not going to succeed at calculus in your lifetime. And he's just going on, he's like, "Some people say that calculus is easier than algebra. I've got someone who says that I can do calculus and they're terrible at algebra." I'm like, I don't think, and in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm telling him, like, well, those two things are actually heavily related to each other.
I know.
Where algebra flows into pre-calc, goes into calculus.
And calc goes directly into stats and physics and everything else, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there is no reality in which you are failing an algebra class and you go into a college calc class.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I got this, and then you just ace it. That does not happen.
College?
They're the same thing.
I don't know what it's gonna be like at your school, but college calc at my school is so much harder than at high school. Like they go hard in college.
Hate it. I've tried it. I couldn't do it. I wanted to do it this year because it's like I cannot do online college calc. Mm-hmm. That's a lot to why I wasn't able to, like, I just couldn't. I dropped out of the class. This fucking sucks. Because it's like there's no teaching. There's no active demonstrations in class.
It's gonna be.
You can't ask questions.
Yeah, it's gonna be very well, at least at my college, it was very similar in person to online.
Really?
So our professor, I took Calc 2 freshman year here. Yeah. First semester freshman year, because you have to get 5s on the I only got a 5 on the. I took Calc BC, which counts for Calc 1 and 2, but I got a 5 on the AB part, but only a 4 on the BC part. And you need a 5 on both parts to get credit for both, so I only get credit for Calc 1. So yeah, I was going into Calc 2 first semester freshman year. The teacher, he would make us memorize the integrals of like all these, like there's like 50 like common integrals you'll have to do, which include like sine, cosine. Those ones are obviously pretty like simple. But then there's like cosine squared plus tangent, and like it gets really weird. Cosine over tangent, and like you have to memorize all the integrals for all of those.
Yeah.
And he was like, instead of being like, yeah, you can like you can have a formula sheet, he's like, you gotta memorize all those. And we were like, bro, that's so bad. That's so tough. And then he also wouldn't teach. He would just go into class and be like, does anyone have questions? And you'd just be like, yeah, I didn't understand how to do this at all. And he'd be like, okay. And then he would do the question, and he would use, like, now I understand it more, because he would use like high level, like much higher level math to solve the stuff. And we would be like, we don't understand what's going on at all. Because he would use tricks that you use in like differential equations and linear algebra and stuff to like solve the different equations and stuff like that. But that was not how we were supposed to do it in the book. And so no one understood a single one of his examples. And he would also consistently get the examples wrong on the board. He also did not speak English very well, which was not helpful.
Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the guy that wore 2 glasses over his Zoom calls?
No, that was our physics professor. Dude, that guy died. That guy died from COVID. Yeah, that was bad. That was our physics professor. He was also really bad at teaching physics, but I feel bad because he died, so I'm not gonna like hate on him too much.
Yeah.
But no, this guy was freshman year. This was in person, and then we do our test. The average was, I think, like a 45. And he starts putting people's tests on the board, like on the projector, and saying, "If you did this problem like this, you should quit engineering, maybe quit college altogether, go to business or to art, something, because you are no engineer. You are too dumb for engineer." And it was just so mean. It was so mean. And yeah, so I did like okay on that exam. I think like compared to everyone else, I think I got like a 65 or something. Not terrible, but not good, obviously. And I was like, this is gonna bring down my GPA. And like this class is eating up all of my time, so I can't study for my other classes. So I dropped that class, and then I just took I took it online from the local community college, and it was so much better. And I did like all my math, because the Virginia Tech math department is terrible. It's so bad until you get to upper level math.
Dude, yeah, it's just been my classes are they're very strange so far. I'm only doing one business related one because like
that happens.
3 of my transfer credits, they're like, we need to look at your syllabus from your other schools to see if these qualify. And that's 3 core business classes that they need to do that for, and it's like, whatever. So I'll just do I'll do one of the 2 that I haven't done yet, which is like incorporating stats with business. My other 2, they're like, you need 1 more English credit to not do any more like extracurricular things for your core, which is like great. I really just want to do major related stuff and minor related stuff. And like the other one's like, you need a science, and you have not gotten a math credit yet, which is weird because I did college stats. But I don't know how they didn't factor that in.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Maybe it doesn't count as math. I have no idea.
The fucking abbreviation when I was at Franklin Pierce was
it's
MET.
math.
So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but so my 2 other classes are both anthropology classes. Do you know what anthropology? I bet you do. But like,
isn't it like?
I really do.
Yeah. Well,
it's like
just
the study of humans and
okay. That's what
archaeology.
I thought. Yeah. Keep going.
And I literally did not know what the fuck that meant.
Wait, why do you have to take those?
I have to take a class with a lab. I have to take a science class with a lab.
Okay.
And the anthropology one I'm taking has a lab in it.
Is it supposedly easy? Yeah.
It's really not that difficult.
Okay, yeah.
The first lab was going over like some really simple like biology stuff, and just like, This is a phenotype and this is a genotype, and these are recessive genes. Right here are 10. It was literally a high school paper. It was like, write down. Here are 10 things. Here are the letters for these 10 things. Look at yourself. Write down the abbreviation of what you think is recessive and what you think is dominant. Which is like, okay, so I can either be 2 capital letters or 1 capital letter and a lowercase letter.
That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
then recessive is.
That
And it's
that,
just
that
really
actually
easy.
that is like high school stuff. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And the other one was just like, here's a statement, here's a theory, or like that's what it is, right? A theory can be considered like a statement that is considered factual.
Yeah,
So
because
like here's a theory about like mongoloids in zoos and mongoloids in the wild. Write a hypothesis, and it's like, are you what? And that's like, write out how you would test your hypothesis. It was the most lame brain shit ever, and I wrote it in the most over eloquent way possible. I'm gonna pull it up because I remember when I had a teammate in that class. After I read out that example, he dropped the class, I think. Let me just find it because it was a really fucking I really overdid it compared to everyone else in the class.
Yeah,
because I already knew how to test the experiment, and it just was like, let's just make this sound like I'm a Half-Life scientist.
Don't hate on easy classes though. Easy classes are
no. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far. I said a sample size must first be established between captive and wild orangutans. From there, an anklet or heart rate monitor can be fixed on select orangutans in both groups to monitor their physical output for the day. Researchers will physically observe what each selected orangutan eats and create an estimated caloric intake from that. From there, a ratio between caloric intake and output can be created based off of data collected from both groups. This can correlate directly to the average weight between captive and wild orangutans. And no one else in the class really explained it
used any big
word.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
dude, I like how it's orangutans, dude. I love orangutans.
Orangutans are pretty cool. We're talking about monkeys a lot right now.
Monkey.
Dude, I'll have that class until 2 weeks from now because of Labor Day. Our teacher's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do my 2-hour, 15-minute lecture, so we're just not going to do lab this week either. So I'll see you guys 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, that's pretty epic. For my class, for my labs, the lab would always not start for the first 3 weeks of classes, which was really nice. I don't have any more labs, which is I'm down with that. The only lab that I had that I actually enjoyed was my industrial systems lab, where you just go and work in a machine shop. It's like a machine shop, and you just do different things. And we welded. I made this. I made this on a lathe. I casted this and then made this on a lathe, drilled in the holes and stuff. It's just a little thing. We made this on a CNC machine. We pressed and created these coins. We did all this cool stuff. And that class was you just had to do the stuff and be proficient at it. But I thought it was one of the best classes I've taken because it gave you a bunch of skills that could be helpful in life that no other class is going to give you.
I should tell you about my other anthropology class because it's an English class technically, but it's also not an anthropology class. It's about studying food and how that can be excavated and related to archaeological findings and what ancient food.
Oh, that's interesting about, actually.
It's incredibly interesting. It might be one of my favorite classes.
Just so you know, we have less than 5 minutes left, so this will be our.
I just want to describe the makeup of that class.
Yeah.
Great class, really interesting. I'm liking the textbook so far. If not, it's a bit long-winded for some of its points, but so far it's okay, that's an interesting point. I'm not knowledgeable on any of this, so finding out how this works and how to excavate this and what this means and how we can relate to a society is really interesting. But the makeup of that class, because it's a third tier English class, and I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm late, or maybe all the good ones were taken. So the makeup, there's about 10 people in my class. Let's see. 3 of them are like the typical white girl that you would see that might take this class because they're interested in food and like food energy, I guess. Let's put it like that. So envision those people.
Yeah.
We had one dude who I'm not gonna hate on him because he had this shirt that made me almost start cackling out loud, and it was a picture of the Seinfeld cast but said Death Grips on it.
Yeah.
And
You
I
sent me
almost
that.
lost
It was
my
really funny.
mind.
Hey,
You
we
can
can
pull that up
yeah,
on
we
the
can,
stream.
yeah, we can pull that up.
I almost lost my mind laughing at that mid class. But like he's just kind of like chilling. He's probably there just to get the credit. There are 4 people over the age of 40 there, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
There are, so we got like, this one's really cool. It's like one of the guys there is like a son of one of the owners from the Wayside, and he's like a cook at the school.
Oh, really? That's kind of
But
cool.
like, yeah, that's really cool. And I found out it's like, oh yeah, you're wearing this Catmounts hat. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Vermont. It's like, oh yeah, I'm from Montpelier. You ever heard of the Wayside? I'm like,
And you're like, oh
what?
yeah, I heard about the Wayside.
It's like I literally ate there before I left to go here. Actually, yeah. And so that's one. There's a dude who is ex-Navy. Does not look ex-Navy at all. But he's probably maybe like 35. But like half of the things that he's talked about with his food relations is like, when I was in the Navy, my Navy buddies and I would. And it's like, okay.
we would
other dude
we would cook ramen on a fire.
Yeah. It would just be like, we went bar hopping a lot when we're in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we've had this tradition. It's okay. And, there's one other dude. I don't know what his story is. I don't think he's a cook, but he has a lot to say about just his own. It's interesting listening to them talk because they have a lot of life experiences, and the context of it is very interesting for someone who is half their age to hear, because it's more or less just like story time during discussion posts or discussion time chats from them. And it's much more interesting than the white girls who are like, oh, I think this. And it's like,
I'm doing a keto diet right now, actually. Yeah.
none of those girls are doing keto diets.
Oh no, Jacob.
Maybe one of them is, but
I understand now what you mean.
There's one other like 40-year-old girl, but she might have dropped the class. Dude, in the other anthropology class, I'm pretty sure that there's a 70-year-old woman there in our class, just taking anthropology. And she just started explaining to our teacher how she hated her MacBook because it just wouldn't do what she wanted to do. And
well, she sounds like my roommate.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Macs are a lot more of an intuitive operating system than a Windows is typically. I feel like the UI is usually more easy to navigate.
I think it goes Mac is the easiest for beginners, and then it goes Windows, and then it goes back to Mac once you get like, because Windows is very good for intermediate, but like once you get into coding, it goes back to Mac. Like like once you get really deep into like programming, it gets back to Mac or Linux systems. But yeah.
All right, do you think we should wrap it up?
Yeah. So yeah, Jake's just had his first week at college. That's exciting. And yeah, we're still trucking along. As you you guys have seen, I have been pulling through on my promises of making a ton of social media stuff, and he's working good.
You're grinding hard. Yeah. I gotta check more of it out. I gotta watch some stream highlights and shit.
Yep. I'm gonna cut up some. I'm gonna cut up this stream. I didn't get a ton of clips from Whitley's stream, unfortunately, but I'll cut up this stream.
The fire is definitely going to be a good one to talk
about. I have some good clips from this one, and I had some good clips from when I streamed a couple Clash Royale a couple days ago. So hopefully we'll get those done. It does take a little time. I mean, because I'm busy, but we'll get to that. All right, well, I gotta go play some golf with my friends. Jake, I think I might buy golf clubs. I'll have to take you golf.
Really?
We've been going to the driving range. It's actually really fun. You would really like it. Yeah, we'll have to do it sometime. All right. Well, see you everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and hope you have a good rest of your day.